Well, got another project going on, and it's a Yamaha Banshee, pretty much a basket case Banshee. There's the cylinders, and here's the bottom end. And there's a story behind this four-wheeler. Bought it from a guy off Craigslist, and of course the bottom end shot. The crank bearings is bad, and I'm starting to find out why. I believe what he did, he put a brand new top end on a weak bottom end, and the crank bearings went out. Because you can see the piston's like brand new, almost. I don't have that much. Got a little carbon, but see the rings? They look almost like new. But this crank bearing over here, it's froze. It won't even turn. And it shot metal up and got the top of the piston. Well, I did some ring gap checking, and still got pretty good ring gap. I mean, the cylinder's not hurt. It's tight. It's just got the top of the piston where the rod bearing chunks went up there. And I'm believing it shot out the exhaust because it didn't hurt the cylinder at all. This is the other side. This is the good side. It had a little rust in there. I'm cleaning it out. But I believe the top end's gonna be fine. I'm gonna clean the top of the piston up, but he had already started taking it apart. That's the head. You can see the rod bearing chunks where they hit the head, which I'm gonna get that surfaced. But yeah, I'm gonna break it down and put another crank in it. I don't know if the crank throw, I guess that's what you call it, where the bearing rides, I don't know if it's hurt. It might be, but you can buy a whole crank assembly, put it back in. But I'm really thinking about reusing this top end because I don't see anything wrong with it. Usually when crank bearings go out, they shoot the metal up through the cylinder and it messes the walls up, but these walls are smooth. I just need to clean the piston up, which I've already cleaned the rings up and everything. We had one ring that was stuck, but rubbing my hand in there, there's no markings. So, but anyway, just another project. I don't know if y'all were watching the videos on the Yamaha Warrior, which really turned into a disaster. After I put it back together, it smoked like a crop duster. I know it went back together right and everything, but it smoked. I didn't want to put a top end in it, so I sold it and ended up getting this thing here, which is a lot better four-wheeler anyway. But it's got the FMF exhaust system. There's the pipes and the mufflers, so silencers, I mean. But. So anyway, we're gonna get it tore down, get the bottom end tore down, I mean, and send the crank over. I might send the crank over to the machine shop and let them press it apart and look at it. If the crank throw looks good where the bearing rides, I might just put another bearing in it. It'd be a lot cheaper than buying a whole nother crank. But I put bearings on both sides, you know. So I don't know if he was just hot rodding it down the street in it through it, or maybe the new top end put compression on a weak bottom end. The bottom end, the crank bearings were already weak. I don't know, but picked it up for a pretty good deal. I mean, these things are hard to find when they're running, you know, at a pretty cheap price. I mean, I've seen some around $1,800, but usually around $2,000, $2,500. You know, it's very rare to find one that's already tore down. You know, like the engine. What I've seen, they're always running. But we'll get it back together and get y'all video on it. But I think it's a 2005 Banshee 350. It looks pretty much stock except for the exhaust. Carburetor's tucked up there. So it's gonna need tires, you know, brakes work. And it's missing the headlights, which he didn't have. So yeah, we'll get it back together. Might be a minute, but and I'll let y'all hear and see it run.